learn a little bit. Well, thanks again, and congrats on the win. You
Absolutely.
guys are 4-0 now.
Thank
Good
you very
stuff.
much.
Yeah, back to the couch.
The chat just love Dream. I'm seeing a lot of Dream slurp emotes in here. And we're going to get some new emotes coming up as well because it's time to judge our emote competition.
He doesn't sound 18 though, does he?
He doesn't sound 18. He sounds, I don't know, 15, 16?
No, I was gonna say like one thing like just on Dream's attitude, like this is a guy, and I don't know like what if people realize like what he has personally done to like become a pro player. So this is a guy lived in WA. Ping was too bad for him to like
Dream, don't
play.
walk out of the room yet. We're talking about you.
Too hard to play at a pro level. So like he moves himself to Sydney, lives in multiple gaming houses, lived at the Chiefs gaming house, lived at the Avant gaming house, wasn't even an official sub, has boot camped himself in Korea twice, like just off his own bat. So and I mean like having worked with him for this season, like he is like actually an old head on a fairly young body.
I totally agree because I hung out with Dream basically all last split. Because all last split, he would be upstairs as one of the refs. He would be on comms and stuff and hanging out in the room, which, you know, we spend most of our time in between games. And his league knowledge is just astronomical. Like, it's so deep. And he has that attitude where it's the only thing he cares about. It's the only driving force. And it's clearly paying off for him.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to win, he will work as hard as it takes to win. That's what I can tell from Dream already. And he's definitely got that winner's attitude.
And he's a super nice guy as well.
He's lovely.
All right, it is time for the emote competition. You guys stepped up and sent a huge amount of responses. We've got a stack here.
Oh, no,
It's
this is
not
gonna be
nearly all of them.
terrifying.
This is
It's not that bad. I feel like there's a good mix of things. There's one really disgusting picture. Let's go from the top. This first one came in from @Fizz2Win. There it is. I mean, that just feels like classic.
That's a good one. I mean, if you're
okay.
going to submit
what did it
one,
come with? Like, didn't we ask for the?
We did ask for that, and not everyone submitted it.
Yeah,
so,
right, so that one loses.
we need the ones that we pick. We need to assign.
that'd be like
some,
OPL Ross, or
commands
OPL
to.
Bob Ross or something.
Yeah. I don't know when you'd play that, other than when you'd post that, other than I would say all the time. The next one I know Jake is going to be a fan of. This one came in from @DashBB. There it is.
I like this one.
Okay, this is a good one. There it is.
Yeah, that one needs to die.
That's a big one.
It needs like this is one of those things that it will only like it needs to be cleansed with fire.
Well, you can't cleanse fire with fire. That's the thing. You just
Like
make
silver
it
bullets
worse.
are not going to work.
It's
This
the
is a
spider
new
of this room.
Yeah, this is a new form of supervillain. It must burn.
This one comes in from Lol Arkangyle. I always get the name wrong. I love this one. I feel like this is because this is a face that I feel like could be posted when someone does something stupid, when someone like makes a team decision where you're like, why'd you take that fight?
Yep,
That feels right.
I feel like Aaron makes that face around me maybe too much.
Too much? Yeah. I don't know when that's obviously from last year. He's sitting where you guys are now. It's obviously from the broadcast. I'm clearly saying something to him that he's not impressed with. And so, but I love that face. It's also just a terrible picture, which I think is, again, the key to a good emote. This one comes in from Juice's mum.
Debs.
Okay. I appreciate that there was a screenshot that wasn't even cropped. You know, like
Yeah.
I really like the authenticity that comes in this. Just
Debs
raw.
is flexing the fact that she's
Yeah.
got a WhatsApp message as well as some tweet notifications.
It's a bit busy
None
though,
of you
Debs.
guys have any friends, but look at me, full bar. There's even 3 dots after it. More to be seen.
And you're up at 12:31 a.m. with 32% battery? What's going on? What is going... You take that picture
That's
past
the
midnight.
laying in bed, charging phone,
But
scrolling through.
Very good juice photo. Juice,
It's a good juice.
very photogenic.
I actually
person.
don't think he takes a bad photo. He's got a
doesn't.
very, very good face, that boy. HQQHQH sent in this one.
That's good.
You like that
That's
one?
just a
That
really
is
good
actually
emote.
good.
Yeah.
It's like a good thinking. I can't remember.
Because that's like when someone gets washed in a team fight, like what were they thinking? Like
Yeah.
3 Nick
Yeah,
faces? Yeah.
Yep, that's good.
That's a
and
banger.
I feel like we can crop that arm enough so that it will work as an emote. We've got a double Pabu coming up. So first Pabu comes in from @Simon Pavone. Pavone. Excited?
Is that in
angry?
relation to Pavu?
Yeah, that's his dad, I
His dad?
assume.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is? Oh,
Yeah,
there you
his
go.
last name's Pavone.
Well,
so-
there you go. I've never looked at his last name.
He's a fly catcher there. That's what you would type is fly catcher Pabu to get that one up.
I'm loving OPL parents dropping in.
CSI Miami intro almost.
And then this one's definitely not from his dad. This one's from Jake on order.
Yes.
And I like this. I like this.
I think this is a blatant breach of trust. That obviously has not seen the light of day. Parbo and Jake are very good friends, as they should be, both great guys. But Jackson has obviously said that to Jake in trust.
I feel like that's a Snapchat or something.
That
you
is
know,
a Snapchat. That is a
screenshotted.
cheeky screenshot with a third-party application that is now being posted online. Unacceptable behaviour. I'll be having words with him.
That's a breach of trust. We've got this one that came in from Hispanic ATD.
This is my vote.
You've said that name differently, I think, every day.
Have I?
Yeah.
Isn't it just Hispanicated?
Hispanicated? Sure.
Right?
I personally think Hispanic are TD because I played tower defenses, but like that's just uncontrollable for me.
I have no idea, but
These
that's
are
a lot
all
of milk.
These are all made up names, and none of it matters. I'm Niche Boy. I'm Nick Boy. Who knows?
Niche Boy.
Yeah, I don't know when you'd play this. When things get super spicy in chat, maybe.
Yeah.
This
Maybe
is great
that
because
works?
it's got like the dripping of the milk,
The
like
dripping is
captured
good.
in the perfect moment.
Whenever
It's
spicy
good.
tips is discussed.
That's true. That's true. We've got two more. This one comes in from Puny One. And what we really need to talk about here is Puny One's internet speed, because the quality on this is just rubbish.
But we can scroll back through the video and find it ourselves.
We can find this moment. We'll track that. That
You know
shirt
the Super Bowl ad that is Bud Light where they call on the phone, they're like, "What's that?"
now. Yeah, that's this.
Yeah.
I also feel like if that's going to be in there, I don't know what other pictures are coming up, but if that's in there, then definitely Pyra with the Golden Gate Time ice cream yesterday should have been submitted.
No one
Somebody
submitted
did
that.
clip it when Nick Boy like stole a bit and took a bite out of mine,
Yeah.
and I was like, I was smiling, but on the inside, like I could feel the rage building.
That's definitely not the bit that I was talking about. But that's okay. Please continue.
I know the bit you're talking about, Bryce. We've got one more, and this one came in Staldian. I'm going to say Staldian. Truly usable in a wide range of situations. This is Staldian talking. Someone does a weird play. Pyro creeps us out eating pies with a knife and fork. E-Jim ruins another segment with a soccer story.
Thank you. I actually, that wins.
That is pretty much your average.
Because it's me.
Because it's, well, obviously, yeah.
So that's the first thing. The
okay.
second thing, the pure emotion displayed in that, only probably rivaled by the Gragas painting.
Can you replicate that emotion now?
What do you mean? That's my permanent face.
Well, this was only like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, Bryce, I need your opinion because you are the internet, basically.
Yeah, sick.
You're
Sick,
half
bro.
Chico Roll, half internet. You're a sentient internet Chico Roll.
Yeah, you're Reddit/r/Chico Roll. That's what you are. What do you like?
I feel like it's difficult. We have some decent ones. I feel like the most useful one is definitely Pabu with the yawn.
Really?
Yeah.
Most useful.
You think?
Or the most useful, yeah. Or
I
like
think
Jake's
that the
head.
Gravitas coach is just trying
Yeah,
to
It's
feed
either, no,
sneaky Gravitas
it's either Jake's head, because I'm just all about dropping like a stinky cheese when someone just makes a butthole play. Like when someone just makes an awful play, like on screen in OPL, whether it's like LC, whatever you're watching, just a single stinky cheese in chat. So like Jake's head, where he's just disgusted, like what is going on? Like that's versatile, and also I think Jackson's head.
So you want to turn a betrayal of trust into a permanent
No,
emo?
no,
he
no,
wants
no, no,
to-
no,
Yeah,
not the
I know
other one. That
one.
one
He wants
obviously
the-
need to be killed with fire.
Ah.
Yeah, no, the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting, boys.
I like your thinking one. Is it the finger on?
Ah,
the...
yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think my one or Nick Boy's thinking one.
Wait, did Nick Boy have a thinking?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
can we
remember.
get up
Can
the
we get
thinking
Nick Boy
HQQ,
thinking?
HQH?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's a good
okay,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a good emote. Pyro, what do you reckon?
Well, I like this one because it's more than just thinking. It's kind of like you're like in awe of whatever you're looking at. But my personal favorite, I think, is probably Spawn Ross, the first one.
Oh, that was
That was
Nick
Nick-
Ross.
that was Nick
No, that
Ross.
was me, Ross.
Oh, was it really?
That was
Yeah.
yeah.
Looks
That
like
was
We
Spawn.
just dads look
yeah.
dads
Oh.
look alike.
Oh, holy
yeah.
crap! Yeah, I'm trying
It's
to
just disappointing.
I need
Nick
glasses.
Ross.
Yeah.
He's just so disappointed with whatever has been said.
Okay, I'm checking out chat now. There's lots of opinions. Spawn versus Nick Boy versus Gragas Face. Want Gragas. So I reckon we go with Jake, the last one. So Jake's perpetual face.
Yeah.
We go with Nick thinking face. And I still like the Choo Choo's one because I feel like that the Choo Choo's face is like a solid.
All I know
emotion
is
face.
it like controversial opinion.
Yeah.
But we've got like 6 useless player remotes in there. Just delete like 3 of them. Just
put all of
Put
them.
all of us in there.
That's true. Okay, well, how about
what
this?
do they watch the broadcast for? The games and the players?
That's definitely not true. Okay, I run this show, so I'm awarding me as the winner. So that's HQQ HQH. You just won yourself a HyperX Cloud Alpha headset, and then runner-up Staldian with the Jake face.
Yep.
And then number 3. Bryce, you get to pick number 3 because you're.
Wait,
Oh,
Chico
but he's
already.
just gonna pick Pabu.
Number
No,
3.
what?
And it can't be Pabu. The Pabu ones are
No.
boring.
What was that? What was the other one?
The other
no, I
one?
said the Jake face one. Somebody
The
else
Jake
had a
one.
good idea.
There was Gragas. There was Choo Choo's.
How much time do we have? Can we run through them all really quick?
No.
Can we go back to back? Can we
There
go
was
picture on picture
There was
on
Milk.
picture?
There was Juves.
The milk one was good.
No, I don't back the milk one.
Okay.
It's too wide.
So
Too
there-
wide shot. Okay,
there was
Gragas
Here we
needs
go.
to.
Here we go.
Like chat kind of wants Gragas, but Gragas needs to literally just die. Let's move on. Move on. Next one. Absolutely not the Gragas. Choo Choo's. I actually really like this one. I can get behind this one.
Yep.
This is all right. Choo Choo's gets a vote.
That's a
Juves-
banger though.
Juves,
feel-
okay. I feel like Juves already has that emote though.
Yeah.
That's like no,
You know
but
what I
hold on.
mean?
That's a great one because that's like the face that you make when you just like when somebody just like face checks you and you know you're about to.
I
just
feel like
completely
that's your
just
good
F them
stinky
up.
cheese replacement though.
What if we make
never
this
gets
one
replaced.
not the picture of Juves, but just the bar at the top of the phone?
There's Pabu's head having just a real fat yawn. That's a big yawn.
You could be
okay.
yelling the word lasagna now. You can.
He's just chomping, and then okay, Nick. So I reckon maybe Aaron, maybe Choo Choo's.
Okay, Aaron is 3rd runner-up. Congratulations. And Loz has already posted Aaron in the chat because she'd already decided that was good enough. So Lol, Arkin, Guile, you are our 2nd runner-up. Congratulations. Thank you for everyone submitting the emotes. Everyone will get to enjoy these ones. We're going to skip rosters right now, and we're just going to jump right into the last game of the day. It is Legacy versus Avant. You know who's on these teams, although maybe not with Avant because you guys have subs.
Yeah, who you playing?
Who's playing?
Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. Wait, from when?
Yesterday.
All right.
Nothing's
Nothing's
so that's
changed.
Sway.
That is safe.
You can check out Ali's POV stream on our Twitter at OPL, and I'm handing it over to the desk now with Pirate and the Human Chico Roll.
That is a great new nickname, but
That's
I don't
just
think it's going to fit as well on Twitter.
Yeah, I also agree. Also, for those that people are wondering, like Ali is Aladoric, AV support.
Yeah.
So Nick Boy just dropped that one on you all, but like Aladoric, he's going to be the POV.
Good,
And
good enough.
I refuse to like Chico Roll Stick. This is absolutely it's gone.
Well, you know, let's let Champ select stick as we're into it already. Legacy starting things off right now with a Karthus ban, respecting against Swaith.
Yes, this is something that a lot of teams are doing, well, for multiple reasons. On blue side, you have that more flexibility. Red side, of course, as you don't have first pick, you have to ban more of the OPs more of the time. So, Swaith being on the roster, he's the Karthus player, whereas Sybil is not. So, first banning that one does make sense from Legacy. I'm kind of excited for this matchup, because out of a lot of the teams in the league, you have a few different strategies. Like, Chiefs came in today with like a hard ban Destiny out and play a Draven comp. That is very prepared, but it's not necessarily cheesy. AV have played Mordekaiser mid. Legacy played Riven top yesterday into Urgot. So these two teams, I feel like, out of everyone, could have the weirdest drafts.
And talk about the stinky cheese.
Yeah.
Avant definitely have a lot more surprises up their sleeve. I wouldn't be surprised to see. But so far, so standard on the bans. You see the Casio, Aatrox removed away. Silas and Urgot going to be going out as well.
Yeah, and I feel like this is AV getting 2nd day in a row Silas ban towards him. It feels like some teams have picked it up and it is being respected. Of course, Scrims, other teams don't get to see, but your solo queue history, they absolutely can. If you're actually going to play him on the weekend, you definitely would have played him in solo queue. So, Legacy done their homework here. Lucian is up and available. I'm blanking on one of the OPs. Aurelia, Akali, Lissandra.
Akali is up. Lissandra's up. That's
There
going to
we
be
go.
the pick for Chaz, likely anyways. But yeah, you know, I think if you're feeling confident, putting some stock in your scrim bucks, that's certainly going to boost you up for the next week. Avant have a lot of tricks we have seen in their kit. And Legacy are kind of a team that has been struggling a little bit, not just from the record. So we'll see what they end up doing in this one. Avant Gaming, though, do lock in the Lucian. Will they round out their bottom lane entirely on this pick?
Potentially, if they want to go for a Lucian Braum and they want to guarantee it, maybe they do lock it in here, but I expect it may just be a jungle or a solo lane lock-in, as it is the Jace. This is an ambitious call. I feel like if you're looking in Jace 2nd pick, red side, you have to be able to play it in multiple roles. Chippies has been a Jace player before. We see him a lot more top than in mid lane, but Shock, I feel like, has to be able to play this one, otherwise AV would be drafting themselves into a hole. So,
Yeah.
curveball thrown already.
Well, assuming that the Lissandra definitely goes mid, then is this a matchup that you think Shock would want to take?
Yeah, absolutely. I can see it. If you can get yourself a high-pressure jungler, you can get things done early. You are kind of in the old-school triangle of League of Legends, where like you want to play poke into hard engage and whittle them down before they actually get on top of you. Guts is a big Zac player, and with a list lock-in already, kind of makes sense to go for that sort of stuff.
We got the Kane locked in for
Kanye.
Swathe now. Yeah, so I was going to talk about how there were changes on the patch, but I'm like, it's mostly just quality of life. It makes him a little bit more fun and easy, and you can see what he's going to be doing. But it's a very aggressive champion. It definitely fits the Swathe playstyle.
But I feel like it is certainly risky with a Jace draft. Lucian will be fine into whatever matchups happens bottom side, and they may just be able to get priority just of how strong he is. You've now picked a Jace. This may just go mid lane, but Kane isn't good pre-evolve. Zac is not necessarily a jungler that's going to be able to punish this. It's not a Camille, it's not a Xin Zhao that can bully him out of the jungle early, but pre-evolve, this champion does next to nothing. You just want to get some ganks off, hit some champions so you can get to that red form. I feel like it would be very unlikely that he goes for Shadow Kane and just goes full assassin, but traditionally Kane is very good into tank compositions, and they've already locked in a blind Braum, a blind Zac. It sort of makes sense here for Swathe.
Yeah, I think so. Band still coming through. You've got a couple of 80 carries. The Kai'Sa, the Ezreal banned away from Praedyth, and on the opposite side, Legacy, a focused mid lane with the Syndra. Will they continue to do so?
Potentially. I feel like Legacy may just be setting themselves up for a little bit of a Yasuo game here. Now, it's important to remember, we say it every single week, Crazy new to the support role. He gets blind picked Braum. Praedyth, previously on many teams in the OPL,
was a top laner, yeah.
And he's been, like, he played Lucian top, he played Yasuo top, he's played all of these finesse-style top laners, so now transitioning to AD carry, that serves him well, but this is a Braum knock-up, it's a list team fight, and especially a Zac Yasuo is a very potent combo. And the fact that they blind picked the Zac for Guts, and this is the sort of matchup they're going to look for, I feel like we may just see a Yasuo this game.
Yeah, Thresh locked in, so that completes the Lifesteal bot lane for Guncrab and Aladoric. And they're definitely going to be going for some picks this game.
Yeah, certainly is the case. Lifesteal is a pretty rough one to lane into.
Yeah, it's an old good combo. You know, like the Lucian Braum has been a much more standard thing in these days, but Legacy for their side are going to go for the Sivir pickup for Praedyth. And that Akali that made it all the way through to the second to last pick.
It's very interesting.
This would be some flexibility too.
Yeah, because she is like a top priority champion right now. She is incredibly strong. Legacy blind picking the Lissandra kind of devalued it there for AV. They're like, we don't want to play Akali into the Lissandra. She sort of has priority a little bit and can get more done around the map, so they weren't willing to pick it up for themselves, and Legacy, they just let it fall all the way through the ban phase. I was talking about Yasuo, but it is just the Sivir, so the bot lane that we saw Legacy play into order yesterday is exactly what they're going to go for, and it did serve them well. Once they got to the teamfight phase, the laning phase was certainly rough, but now they have engaged, they have a well-rounded composition. Sivir can get them in, Zac can attack the backline, and listen, Akali, they just look to cause a ruckus.
Certainly got the composition for it. So, you know, it sounds like you're picking up Legacy's champion choices here, Bryce. Do you feel like they have the edge over what Avant brought to the table?
I don't feel like they necessarily have an edge. AV are bringing something, and I feel like they're putting themselves on a clock. They have a very strong bottom lane. Jace into Akali is going to be the match up top, but Jace is traditionally one of those champions that if he doesn't get stuff done in the early game, he becomes very useless very quickly, right? They've gone for a fairly greedy jungle choice. The matchup is good, but it's going to be a lot on the bottom side of the map, who are a lot of the rookies here for AV in Lucian and Thresh to get them through the early game and to be able to open up the map for Chippies and Swathe to play their sort of risky style.
We'll see if they can make it happen for sure. So, you know, Rise puts in a second appearance here for Shock today. The Kane comes in. We have a lot of different picks on this Avant side.
Yeah, because like this is kind of what I expected coming into this game, right? Like Legacy and AV, they do draft very differently than most other teams. And as you mentioned, like a lot of things are open. This is a Jace, this is a Kane. Legacy have a high propensity to pick the Zac for Guts. He's a good Zac player, so that makes sense, but it's not necessarily standard by any means. We saw Ryoma pick the, it was actually into Gravitas, but it was a blind Rise, answered into the list, so it was the matchup we saw earlier today, but he did have a fairly rough time, right? Aftershock Rise can weather the storm pretty well, more so than any other mage, but will be interesting to see how Shock fares in this matchup.
Well, we are joined by the coach of Legacy. It is Denian. Thank you for coming over onto this side after the draft has been completed.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it while we're still waiting to load up into the game. Were you happy with the way this pick and ban went?
Yeah, it went pretty much as expected again. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah,
personally.
that always must feel nice. You know, coming out of draft, you're like, hey, that
well, we
went as we planned.
spent quite a lot of time thinking about what we wanted to do into AV, and
Yeah.
AV are a bit tricky.
Yeah,
so
agree.
we had a very long set of plans about what they do when they do things, or what we do when they do things.
That makes sense. I want to ask you specifically, did you expect like to be able to lock in the Liss and the Akali, like, in the last rotation, did you expect AV to possibly ban that one away second phase? Because I was a bit surprised.
I didn't think they'd ban it away. I actually thought if they were going to ban it, they're going to ban it first phase because
Yeah,
they didn't want us to get it at all. That was my thought. But once it was left up, I thought they're okay with us having it, and so they probably won't ban it in the second half.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I want to ask about your bottom lane. This is going to be every game this weekend. I say every game. It's literally been one other time. For the Sivir and the Braum. This is something different than what we saw last week. Is this just a stylistic change for you guys? Is it just like the meta, you just think it's a strong duo?
Well, I think it works well for how we want to play this game out.
Okay.
I think if you look at when you do play with Lucian, you want to play usually aggressively in the lane. If you stall at the game, it's a bit rough for the Lucian. But if the burden is put on the other team, it's a lot easier for us to make the decisions around that burden that they have, and they have to aggressively
You
play
open
into our
yourself
team.
up and they're restricted.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Over across the board, talking about the bot lane as well, on the opposite side, facing off against the likes of like Gunkrab and Aladoric, it seems like they've, as well as the rest of the team, have kind of like impressed, I think, beyond some expectations. With what Avant have brought to the table so far, were you kind of worried going up against them today?
Well, I had a high personal opinion of Gunkrab, Thresh, and also Swaith, because so all three of them, all Gunkrab, Aladoric, and Swaith, I worked with previously in the OCS. And I thought they're all really smart players, and I thought they would do really well coming into OPL. How well they have been doing has been a bit impressive, though.
Yeah.
So I was impressed by just how well they were doing, even though I thought that they would do well.
Yep. Cool.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us, Denian.
Thanks
Best
for
of luck
having
to the
me.
team. All right, so standard start to the game, no shenanigans. We haven't really seen a whole lot of really crazy level 1 attempts in the OPL so far. They've been like half-hearted, 5-man brush camps, that's about it. But there's a lot of cool champions in this game to really get into, and we're looking at one of them right now with Swaith. He gets the smite off on the Gromp for the health so he can finish off blue buff.
Now, I don't have opinion on, I don't have an opinion on Kanye skins, but apparently I've been told Spawn was very adamant that the Odyssey
It's the only one.
Was the wait? Is there literally only one?
No, it's the only one that matters.
Yeah, it's the only one
That's
that is
what I
playable.
should have
He's like that is an absolute must pick up.
It's pretty cool. You saw when the Odyssey line came out, like the video hype bit for it, right?
Yeah.
Where they showed off everybody. And then the Kane just kind of like jumps in and he's like, you stole my girl because it's Sona, and it's like, and then he's all like anime emo and stuff, and like that's a really cool skin.
Oh, I'm not a lore guy, so I didn't know about Kane and Sona.
But lore,
also,
lore have their own. It has their own like lore with the skin line.
Hold on.
Hold on a second. Yeah, Chaz is in trouble. He's gonna be able to limp away.
Just a little bit of a chunk. Claw gets him out to safety, but already early on in this game, look what Guts just did. Cleared his bottom side jungle, went to his top side, went, oh crap, there's no Gromp, there's no blue buff, and there's just absolutely nothing for him on that side of the map. Swaith had a very good path. His bottom lane had priority early, went up and actually defended his blue buff from any sort of invade. They already have the crab, but you can see the ward placed it on the next to it on the minimap, so he completely controls 3 quadrants of this map early. Zac is a champion that is certainly punishable, but this is just a very good start for the jungle in AV.
Yeah, I think this is what you have to expect out of AV. They have their choice of junglers, too, and they've been getting both Swaith and Sybil a lot of reps. Swaith has been, in this week. However, I think it is hard, like Denian said, to really prepare for this team, and that's a big part of why. You don't know which jungler you're facing off against. Guts is down bottom,
does get
but it's
spotted.
so early.
Level 3 Zac is doesn't have the best ganks. His E range is a little bit pathetic. Ward was just placed over the wall, so it was actually spotted out, immediately pinged off by
You got to
AV.
stretchy out, like the stretchy
time.
stuff before it gets
Yeah.
really, really malleable, and then you can make the big leaps and bounds.
Yeah, you got to stretch him out before he actually makes an impact on the map. But this is just a fairly stable laning phase. Chippy's already building himself a little bit of a lead over Paprise in terms of the CS. Also has a bigger wave pushed into him, so...
Is down in experience. He will finally equalize there, though. Great job from Paprise, though, utilizing the Shuriken Flip to back away from the Shock Blast. He's staying healthy. And Paprise he seems to just love these aggressive champions. I mean, the dude played, like, Riven yesterday. Like, I love it. I just want to see more of this stuff.
Certainly, in his time on Tectonic, Camille was much more in the meta, but I feel like he was a big Camille player. Swaith now looking for something on the top side of the map. Dodged away from the vision from the minions, and of course, remember, Kane can go through walls, so gank attempt is going to be up here on the top side. Chippies goes in.
Well, it's tag team. Swaith coming through here now. Paprise in his own shroud, but he's going to run out pretty quickly there. It's another Shock Blast 2v1 and first blood for Sway.
And absolutely no vision for Pat Prize. The pink water in the Tri-Bush denies absolutely everything. Shroud down means that there's absolutely nothing he can do to avoid that one. It's just a very easy cleanup from the jungle top lane duo of AV.
Yeah, really kind of clean cut at this point. So now Shock is going to be the one being excited. And in comes Guts, trying to answer for what happened in the top lane. Immediate flash burn, though. Shock is out of there.
Yeah, has to respect that one. Does have to cleanse, but given how much CC can be combined between a Lissandra and a Zac, chooses to pay the flash price there and uses it early so doesn't actually lose any HP on the back end of that one.
That does mean a return gank, though, does get all the more hairy for him. Shock does hold on to his cleanse for the time being.
For the time being, he does, but the biggest difference right now is this level 4 Zac to this level 6 Kayn. He got the kill on the top side of the map, had access to way more camps in the early game, and certainly finds himself with a 2-level lead, already gone for a recall out of base, and he's absolutely monstrously more impactful than this Zac at this point in time.
Yeah, and I think you kind of have to expect that a little bit, right? Zac is one of those champions that's a little bit slower. All the same, Swathe has been more active than Guts.
I feel like you expect maybe a little bit of a lead, right? But this is large. This is fairly large. Red buff is now being taken away. Swathe doing an incredibly good job at timing the camps and tracking out Guts across the map. You've seen a lot of their lanes. We noticed it in the Chiefs game versus Gravitas, day 1. Every one of their lanes was using priority to go get vision in the jungle. That's exactly what has happened this game. Now it will just result in a free Infernal Drake, because this is Thresh Lucian getting priority bot lane, walking in, getting some vision up the river. This allows Swathe to be doing a camp on the other side of the map, whilst his team does the tracking of the enemy jungler for him. You just saw in the minimap, Zac just slingshotted into the red pit. It already happened earlier on in the game on the other side of the map, and now both buffs have been taking one after the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big jungle dominance from Swathe there, and it's crucial that the dragon that's picked up is an Infernal as well, because Avant are going to be in a great position come the mid-game to really start out fighting as this trend kind of goes. So, you know, we've talked a little bit about the jungle matchup laning-wise. There's a couple advantages also there for Avant. Top side, Chippies has been able to out-farm. There's a hook going in bottom for Aladoric. Of course, Crazy just immediately throws up the shield wall, but you're going to start to see this gold snowball a little bit more as turret plating starts to take effect. Here's Guts up top. He still doesn't have 6, though. He can't get the abduct off, and he misses everything.
Very nice Duke. Guts, maybe in a little bit of trouble here.
Swathe runs into a wall.
Yeah.
Runs out of Shadow Step.
Tried to get the little dash into the extra bit of the wall, but could not find it. Dashes over, hits the blast plane, and gets a little bit of safety. Was there for the counter gank, though. Guts is certainly just fishing for things, but this lead in the jungle is just growing further and further. We do have to mention AV, 2k gold lead at this point, have themselves an Infernal Drake. This is a very good start for them, but Legacy's comp certainly comes online a little bit later on. When they get their 1 to 2 items, once they get to team fights, they have the wombo, right? Siva, once again, like we saw yesterday, they want to grant Chaz access to the backline. Guts on this Zac, he wants to be kidnapping carries back into the rest of his team, so you expect the lanes this game to definitely favor the AV side. Maybe not this heavily, but Legacy just trying to lose as little as possible at this point in time and just scale up towards that team fight phase.
Just trying to buy a little bit of time for sure. Still, hefty gold lead in favor of Avant to top off that dragon as well. And I don't think AV are going to be too worried about taking a little bit of time themselves. I mean, they do have a tier champion in the mid lane. That's Shock on the rise. And because there hasn't been any return ganks in the mid lane, his flash is just ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. Yeah, and he can just relax. There's a big CS advantage down bot, by the way. I haven't really pointed this out yet, but for a champion that can kind of perma-push like Sivir, Praedith has not been able to keep up in the farm game up against Guncrab, and he's gone for the Boots 2-start as well.
Yeah, it didn't go for like a first base recall into the BF sword to just try and one-hit the wave, anything like that. There is a lot of threat when you're playing against a Lucian Thresh if the hook ever does land, which is pretty hard onto a Sivir when she has the spell shield, but just sitting underneath the turret, it's hard to actually defend too well without losing turret damage as a Braum Sivir lane, because you have to wait for the wave to come to you in this situation, and given the state of the jungle matchup, they haven't really had a lot of help. Guts,
he steps onto the ward at the last second.
At least he knows that he has been spotted. That's better than the alternative, in which case he's just standing on a ward doing absolutely nothing. But Swathe is down here baiting the fight.
They're going to try to make it happen here. Guncrab and Aladoric are going to go back with the box as well. Chaz teleport completes, but in comes Swathe. It looks like there'll be at least one kill in this one. Guncrab getting abducted. Aladoric making a run for it, but he's stunned up under tower. Oh, goes golden. He's going to save his own life.
Yeah, and that was a very risky game that AV were playing. They knew the potential gank was there. They saw Zach moments before, and against a double TP composition. You saw Gunkrab went for a dash in, instantly landed. They tried to bait that one out, but especially didn't account for Chaz showing up behind them, and Legacy, they'll find themselves a kill.
That they will. Crucial, I mean, Praedyth, again, you talked about how he'd been kind of forced back a little bit. He's able to get himself a little bit of extra gold influx now. Swayth has to come in to clear up the waves so tower plating doesn't fall too low. Nicely done by Legacy.
Yep, certainly is. Get them some respite on the map, but this is 2 plates taken just naturally in every single lane, right? Swayth did counter gank top side. He hasn't looked for anything huge so far. He's just kind of been bullying out Guts in the jungle more so than affecting the lanes. That does affect the lanes by proxy, don't get me wrong, where they have absolutely no vision. They have to play scared somewhat, but this is a lot of gold influx just across the map, slowly building lane by lane here for AV, so certainly looking good.
That's the case. Legacy still trying to keep toe-to-toe, and the Legacy is a team with some pressure on right now, right? It is, you know, still only 3 weeks into the split, but you lose this one, and all of a sudden you're still tied at the bottom with Direwolves.
Yeah.
And Direwolves, I think, have the better upward momentum at the moment, despite the fact that they've gone 1-1 on the week. They have the more recent win. They had a very close game in their loss today. And now you look at Legacy and you start thinking, okay, your move.
But I feel like you certainly have to give Legacy some credit, because looking at their strength of schedule, last week they played Bombers Mammoth, 2 very hard games. This week they played Order AV, 2 equally as hard games. And next week they play the other top dog in Chiefs and also Mammoth again, right? So like, given they are probably considered one of the weaker teams, hold this thought.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
in.
Guts, oh, that's the Umbral Trespass into little blobs he goes. Chaz there's in a 1v2 scenario. He should fall pretty soon, but he does get himself in the Frozen Tomb, and the blobs are going to be finished off. Chaz did not go the way he needed to. That's a double kill for Swayth.
And just a straight 2v2 in the mid lane. Swayth is racking up the orbs here, using his E to get a little bit of health, and that's going to be the 3rd buff taken away on the red side. So AV winning out just completely across the map. This Kane pick is doing wonders for them right now.
Now it's on the hunt, though, for Legacy as they try to get the chase in and flash away from the Lucian into the Culling. Alidoric gets the Flay back onto Crazy, who is left for dead. Swayth coming in onto Praedyth again. It was a nice attempt from the Legacy bot lane, but they expend a teleport in order to prevent anything from happening at the end. And there's another dragon on the rift.
Paprise wishes this was an older patch where he could cancel that TP and his bot lane could just get the hell out from underneath the turret, but this looks like desperate play from Legacy. They lose a 2v2 in the mid lane. And what that means is Shock can do literally whatever he wants. Swayth has access to the bottom side of the jungle, so Legacy, Praedyth, they blow on the hunt. They look for that 2v2, start running up the lane, and you see the immediate collapse from the mid-jungle duo of AV. And even if you win the 2v2, even if Siva Braum somehow kills Gunkrab and Alidoric on the bottom side of the map, they would just be cleaned up by the jungler on the back end. So not paying respects to the map state there, and Legacy, they pay the price.
Yeah, once again. So this Avant lead kind of keeps moving forward, and I think the expectation for Avant was to be able to cleanly play a game against Legacy. While Avant have been a surprise contender here in their performance early on in this split, nonetheless, we have expectations of them now.
Yep.
So they knock down a tower up top. They get first brick. We can see, of course, as expected, Red Cane in full effect for Swayth. And into the mid, Legacy trying to snowball a little bit themselves and maybe take out a tower to equalize a little bit on gold, stop that bleeding.
Yeah, 4v1 in the mid lane. Ryze is very good at clearing out these waves. And I do want to finish on the point I was making, right, about Legacy. Their strength of schedule. Bombers Mammoth, Order AV, and then next week they have Chief Mammoth again. So they have had a very hard couple of weeks, right? This is a team that came into the split with a complete rebuild. AV has been able to pick up more games than people expected. So did Direwolves, but Legacy, they certainly have had a rough start to the split, but against some very, very good opponents.
No, that's true. It's worth noting that how strong a lot of the OPL is at the moment, but on the other hand, everybody looks strong when you're at the bottom of the table, right?
Yeah, that is true as well, right? Like, these games do look uphill. Rift Herald is going to be started out by Swayth, and I feel like, especially in OS, maybe just in general, Jace is not a champion that gets away with a free lane phase. Zach is channeling, though, so...
Ooh, Chaz taking a heaping helping of damage. Guts will come in, and Legacy are going to try to outmuscle this, and I didn't see who got the smite down on that one. So it looks like Legacy can actually guard this, though.
Kane is incredibly good at actually contesting this one.
Oh, he's just going to
go over the wall.
Yep, okay.
Picks it up.
Oh! Insult to injury, man. He didn't have any fear at all. And now he's on top of Paprise with the Umbral Trespass Gets him out there as he goes over the wall, but straight into 2 more members of Avant Gaming. And
Chippies
Shock
live?
picking up Half-Price Chippies.
No.
He isn't going to be this time. Still, the fight's going in favor of Avant Gaming. Praedyth is going to grab Chippies, but Jazz is going to die as well.
And this
Legacy
gold
really don't
lead
get much.
is just exploding out of nowhere. AV also, they get the Rift Herald on the back end of that play. Actually, popping it immediately in the mid lane. And not to mention, Gunkrab rather was just sitting in the bot lane the entire time. That was what ended up in a 4v5. It was a series of kind of 1v2s, 2v3s, but he just got complete free time to hit turrets, push that wave in, now stealing away the camp. So Guts has had very little access to any of his jungle the entire game. And it's a communal effort here from Avant-Garde.
And the knock-on effect is that at this point, the gold lead is just completely boomed out for Avant.
Yep.
16.5 minutes in. Yeah, they can scrap, they can push towers, they can do it all.
They certainly can, and they definitely just have an oppressive composition. Chippies, by nature of the game, he doesn't have a single kill, but with 3 assists, with the platings he got after a very stable lane phase from himself and the rest of the team.
It's a big gold lead.
He is up a ton of gold. He could just be pressuring in the side lane, still has access to his TP, so can be relevant in a cross-map play if there is ever the opportunity that he needs to go down there, but this is a composition from AV that is incredibly mobile, can look for tons of picks, and is very difficult to play against from ahead.
And speaking of mobile, yeah, you just saw Swathe just check in, check out. I mean, at this point, the guy can hop walls so often and just sneak in and out of the shadows that they can't really see him coming, even if they wanted to fight him. Now they will look for Gunkrab.
Ooh.
Easily, though, Aladoric chucks out the lantern and it gets taken, so nice little bait on the line. Avant pull back, another dragon, and the next is going to be an Infernal as well.
Now I have a question.
Fire away.
Has Zach landed a Q on a champion this game?
Not that I've seen.
I feel like the answer is no.
Guts has gone in several times.
Yep.
The problem is his timing is always a little bit off. Sometimes he's been forced to go in. We saw at level 5 when he didn't have access to his ultimate to try and get an abduction off. At other times, he's gone in, he's predicted incorrectly, or he's forced to flash, so that's fair. I mean,
That
if
is
you get
true.
a flash,
That's
that's something. But we haven't seen those big Zach get over here plays.
That's what you want to see. So, little bit unfortunate here. We are approaching the Baron part of the game fairly soon. I feel like there's nothing really for AV to play for right at this moment.
No, they've taken everything else.
Yeah, the next couple of minutes, they've literally taken everything. Outer ring, completely gone. They had the Rift Herald, they popped it immediately, double dragons in their back pocket, so they've certainly set themselves up for a very strong mid game. They already maintained control around mid, but specifically top side for when this Baron does become up and available. And they actually have a fairly quick Baron. Their comp isn't the best at tanking it up, but if they ever win a team fight, they will just demolish that almost immediately with Lucian, Ryze, Jace. They have damage from every single one of their roles, so could be looking for something.
A lot of pinks flying here for Legacy. They need to get in and try to put some vision down in the next few minutes so that Baron doesn't get snuck away by this accelerated Avant Gaming lineup. And we really do need to see Legacy kind of execute on some of those lockdowns that they do have in the form of Guts and Chaz. Or even Crazy.
Yeah, yesterday they were finding them, right? It was from a substantial gold deficit, but they were finding the flank engages. Legacy, for this split, for such a young roster, have been very good at setting up flank wards for a Lissandra, for a Riven yesterday. This game, it might be the Akali. She excels in these sort of scrappy fights as well, but...
Top-Rise has also had a quiet game too, right? I mean, he's been zoned off by Chippies, and Akali can still do some crazy things, but we need to see if Legacy's members can survive here. And Chaz is just collapsed on. That is not what you want to see.
Straight up dies in the CC, unable to ulti once he's knocked up by Kayn. So AV just get themselves a free pick. No summoners burn anywhere, and it may just grant them access to this top turret.
Yeah, Swaith's got 5 kills at this point. He is
big.
Aladoric does get a rare whiff on that hook, but didn't really need to do anything with it anyways. Now Gunkrab and Shock still firing away at this turret. Inner turret sub 20 minutes.
That is so annoying. Swaith just goes into the wall and stands there. He's so big, you have to respect him. He can do so much damage, but he doesn't even actually want to go over the wall. He's just buying time for Gunkrab to whack away at the turret, get a little bit more chip damage.
Saving grace here is Praedyth, though, being able to crit a shake through, and Swaith, wow, Swaith can just be wherever he wants on this map.
Yep, just has to pay respect. So that turret is going to fall down eventually. Second wave gets him that one. 20-minute mark has been hit, so Baron is now certainly on the table. Also, niche little interaction we haven't really talked about yet is Thresh into Zach. So Guts has already got a tough task ahead of him into trying to get onto the back line, and when you just get flayed out of your E...
You're about as useful as a shoe shop in Hobbiton.
As what?
A shoe shop in Hobbiton.
What's Hobbiton? Is that like
It's where all the hobbits live.
Hobbits are from? Isn't that the Shire?
Well, okay, Hobbiton is a town in the Shire. The Shire is a region.
Okay. You know,
Gotta know your Lord of the Rings, man.
yeah, you know much more about Lord of the Rings than I do.
Dude, it's like next door. Just fly to New Zealand.
yeah.
You'll learn all you need.
Fair enough. I've only been to New Zealand once.
I have
Maybe
not
need to
been.
go back.
I've been told I have to go to Auckland.
Yeah, okay. Have I been to Auckland? No, that's the only place I've been. Yeah, Swathe.
Swaith going in on
Being
Praetor.
incredibly annoying. Because this is kind of one of these things. So I'm going to talk about my experience being the Thresh when you have a very, like, potent jungler with a lead that is squishy, right? So, like, it used to be Kha'Zix. When I was on a team with Spooks, we used to love playing Kha'Zix Thresh because Swathe can basically do this, go for a chunk, and then Aladoric just throws the Lantern, and he has all the safety in the world. So he gets to use his dash, or in this case, on the Kayn, he gets to use his mobility forwards, look for that damage, chunk someone really annoyingly, takes the Lantern back to safety, and there's very little punish from this sort of lineup. If it's not a list W or an ulti, then nobody else is going to be locking him down immediately. So Swathe certainly has a lot of freedom with the composition that AV have put together.
Yeah, and that freedom, I think, is a big part of why we're starting to see Thresh picked up a lot more, especially on the players who, kind of had such propensity on that champion. Thresh is one of those interesting ones that he had, like, a long time in the spotlight, disappeared, like, globally for a while, and then he's just kind of been around ever since. Like,
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see how much people have started to take back to him again.
Thresh has a really weird place in the meta where you have Thresh players and then you have players that don't play Thresh. He's one of those champions where you do or you don't, there's no in between. But he's also either at the top of the meta or he's always playable. Because into tanks, you just play the Moby Boots, run around the map sort of style, where you be Lantern Thresh in the early game because you can't lane that well into like an Alistar or anything like that. Maybe that's a bad example of the Ali because he does okay, but there are matchups that are difficult. But in squishy support meta, when you have like Namis and Karmas running around, then you can be lane dominant. If you land a single hook, then you're just a huge threat and you have to play very respectful from the other side of the coin. So he's kind of just useful all the time. And honestly, I just think the support meta is best when he is around.
It allows for a lot of big plays, right? And it's the same thing when you talk about Braum, although he's a little bit more linear in that regard, whereas you can kind of slingshot around a lot with Thresh. Like, we have seen, just today alone, like, so many great Lantern plays. And now, as Avant pick up yet another Dragon, it's another Infernal, as we pointed out to earlier in the game. You could see Legacy were kind of toying with the idea of, should we rush the Baron, should we not? I don't know. They got cold feet because Avant finished that Dragon up really fast, 23 minutes into this game. And they've got so much vision control.
Yeah. And that's what I expect from them, right? Like I mentioned, their Baron is quick, but they don't have a tank. Aladoric is the tankiest member on the team, maybe. Maybe it's Kayn with a Black Cleaver now building some MR as well.
He's definitely got sustain.
Yes, but they don't have an Ornn, they don't have a Scion, they don't have an Urgot that can just start this one up and tank it for free. So the game has sort of stagnated to some degree. AV's gold lead hasn't grown in the past 5 minutes, but that's not for a lack of trying or because they're screwing something up here. Like, this part of the game is to be expected to be slow. Chippies is now causing a huge bunch of pressure on the bottom side of the map. He's completed 2 items, has a stopwatch, Merc Treads, and the Hex Drinker already. So he's very safe from a 1-item Akali all-in who had to go for the early Seekers just to buy a little bit of time in that 1v1. So Chippy certainly has a lot of pressure, and AV are just... Maybe if they get a pick, then they force the Baron. If not, they're just kind of waiting for Chippies to get something done in the side lane.
Yeah, able to split push. Random aside, by the way, what did happen to Ornn? He just completely disappeared.
Yeah, I feel like he got nerfed. He removed the Unstoppable, now it's back. He lost the shield on his W, which was his main trading tool. Interestingly, though, is that AV have actually started up this Baron, and as I mentioned it, they completely walk away.
Okay, so it was spotted due to
Blue Trinket.
the Blue Trinket, but they were doing some pretty serious damage.
Oh,
It looks like they wanted the fight. Here comes the party portal. It's only Shock, though, that accepted the invitation. Teleport on the backside. But Avant, they maybe should be a little more worried about this than they are. There's the Umbral Trespass, but Legacy realized that all the tools have been used already, and Guts gets a knockback of 2. That's a shutdown going the way of Sivir. And it looks like it's a 1-for-1 trade so far, though. Paprise was the one in the back line trying to get those kills. Instead, he just settles for an assist.
And you can see the compositions coming online here. Legacy with a 7,000 gold deficit actually trade 1-for-1. AV look for a very ambitious engage. So many blinking health bars on the hands of Legacy in the back end of that one, but this is even, and this has just bought a lot of time for the boys in green.
Yeah, and it was a great counter engage. I think Avant just really pressed their luck a little too hard there. Now, Paprise is trying to do his best ninja and escape out of here, but unfortunately, He's going to get caught up, and he gets the execute!
What? A minion just slapped him on the back end with the Ardent Blaze flying at him. You see missing pings immediately coming out from the Legacy lineup.
I think he can wipe some sweat off his brow there. Paprise evading, giving kill gold over.
Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah, it
Feels
does.
good. I mean, it's probably the best kind of death you can have.
Yes.
When nobody gets the kill.
I do that like every game. So you may not know, Bryce, but whenever I roll top lane, I play Singed almost exclusively.
Okay, you're a bad person. But
So
right.
I won't deny that. So I'm always going for the start of the game with the little cheesy
little
proxy farm.
Yeah, okay.
And then he just instantly executes.
Aladoric.
Hello. Yeah, Avant really sniffing for kills here.
Ambitious
they're
play.
itchy trigger fingers.
Yeah, I feel like that may look like a little bit of desperation, you know? This isn't a Hex Flash Thresh, so it's
But
not
they
like
have
he can
such a
blow.
lead. You think
Well,
they don't need to do this.
That's the thing, but this is, I will say, a fairly young lineup. Their bottom lane is complete rookies. Gunkrab has had some time in the OPL as a substitute, but Swaith has been in and out of the scene as well. Chippies and Shock are certainly much more stable, but their comp doesn't start Baron well. Guns is about to face check. So.
Yeah, he does, and he's going to get popped into blobs. Passive is on. Should be pretty easy to pick him up. There's no smite now.
Yep.
So
That's what
I
they
would
needed.
figure Avant should just go for the Baron.
Yeah, that is exactly what they needed. They've tried time and time again to actually force a fight around this, but the picks have never been enough. This time, super valuable target onto the Guts. No smite available. Do Legacy even contest? I assume the answer may just be no, with Chaz going towards the top wave. He just wants to farm up a little bit. Paprise already doing the same, and this was the pick that AV needed to completely break open this game.
Yeah, so a bit slower than they may have wanted, perhaps, but it's still a 27-minute Baron at this point. They got to be pretty happy with the way things went down. They can reassert control over the map here, and really only consolation prize is that Praetor just picks up a blue buff off of that, so not even a tower.
Just trying to get something on the other side of the map. Dragon wasn't even up, as it is spawning in roughly 5 seconds. Shock, that's sad.
Where's my blue buff?
He's a blue man with no blue buffs, so
Dabu D, Dabu Die.
that feels
Is
pretty bad.
that, are you too young for that reference?
No, I get no.
Okay,
absolutely.
good.
I've also seen Blue Man Group. Incredibly good. Incredibly good show.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you are half internet, so.
This is a bad meme. I don't like
No,
this
it's
meme. This
great
is not a
meme.
good reputation.
I don't know what a
to
Chica roll is, but I'm going to go with half internet.
have. Neither do I. I was so confused.
Okay, good. So we're not alone in that one. Great.
Ocean Drake is not much of a prize, but as AV are just taking the time to set up the map,
Yeah.
Swaith sort of has a bit of time to do whatever he wants.
If it comes
He's
down to
getting
it, it's
low,
going to
though.
help a little bit more when you get the Elder, but, you know. And there's still going to be another dragon before that.
Yeah, I feel like his mana matters a lot more in terms of getting low than his health bar, because he could just dash through a wall, use a cooldown, and he will heal up just fine.
Yeah,
With the
Swaith
Ocean
is a
Drake
monster
will do
here.
the same, but clearing a camp probably will get some mana back, already at half of that bar, so he'll be absolutely fine in that regard.
He's also going to make it really hard for anybody but Praetor to deal damage to him because of the Spirit Visage, and the rest of the MR that he gets from the Merc Tread. So Praetor, I think, honestly has been the hero of this game for Legacy. He has been keeping the floodgates back, but the rest of the team is having a hard time really stopping this onslaught. Now, Avant can just muscle in.
There
the
is
Baron
a
buff.
single ward that just got pinged out in the Golem pit by Legacy, so I feel like there's no TP from the Lysandra, which is what you want. That is the perfect flank
Paprise
champion.
has one, but...
Paprise has his, though, so it might be him actually looking to get onto the back line of AV.
Yeah, Legacy, you know, they've shown that they can at least go even in some of these fights, but they need to get the right execution here. I feel like the best fights they've had have been off the back of Avant chasing too far.
Yeah, just the overcommit, right? Their engage isn't very good. Team fight-wise, they have a Jace. He wants to be 1v1 in the side lane. Their best engage is either Swaith just doing a whole bunch of damage, or Thresh laning a hook with Legacy.
On the hunt, Alador
going
going to get
in.
the hook in onto the Braum. Crazy is going to get pulled back in, but Paprise on the back looking for chippies. Is unable to do even a single tick of damage on top of him, and everything misses. Swaith, he's keeping them preoccupied. Legacy starting to lose members, getting cut down to size. That's 2 quick kills here, and the rest are soon to fall. The portal comes through, shutting down Praetor, and it looks like that is going to be lights out for Legacy here. Chaz limping back to his fountain. He will claw his way to freedom, but I think that's going to be game over.
And a last-ditch effort from Legacy. They pulled the trigger on the team fight they needed, but it absolutely was not enough. Chaz, with no ability to solo down defend the Nexus.
That's going to be all she wrote. Avant Gaming will take themselves another win. Legacy, they fought valiantly, but it just wasn't enough, and they fall down to 1-5.
And you can see big grin on Swaith's face, as it should be. That was an incredibly good performance. And he sort of seems like the master of the weird junglers. He's played the Evelynn, he's now played the Kayn. These guys are very non-traditional, and AV seem like a fairly non-traditional team. They're not playing strictly to the meta. They play what they're good at. It's a Mordekaiser, it's a Kayn. This sort of more niche stuff, and It's
And
definitely working for them.
That's the key here. Is that oftentimes you talk about teams that like off-meta picks, and unless it's a pocket pick that has proven success in the past, it usually just ends up being kind of like a coin flip. But Avant have consistently found wins utilizing strange champions. And funny enough, they've now done it against Legacy, who I think that was going to be one of their maybe pocket aces, is having weird picks, having surprises, because this is a team with players that have come out of different roles.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Legacy have been struggling out of the gates, and now they hit another roadblock here.
Yeah, certainly. And I feel like from AV, that is a hard composition to play. Chippies, like carry-oriented top laner, right? He's been very good at that for a great number of years. He gets a very strong Jace game. Stable laning phase was playing around gank pressure respectfully. Swathe was in his back pocket when he needed to be, but that was a clean win on not just a team fight force comp where you have a stable laning phase and then you just run it up mid, right? This was, you saw the lull in the mid game. They played with respect to the fact that Legacy do win those team fights. There was one fight in the mid lane where Legacy went 1-for-1 that it sort of looked like maybe AV were getting a little bit desperate. Like maybe they were
jitters, I think.
Yeah, maybe they were like looking at their comp. They're like, "Hey guys, this game is stalling out. Like, what's going on? Why can't we end this?" So there was like a little bit of a lull in that mid game, but other than that, everything else was a clean closeout.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair to say. I mean, the Kayn certainly popped off early and often enough. It allowed them to really have a lot more freedom in all of their lanes, and I don't think outside of that mid game you were talking about, they really felt a whole lot of pressure.
Yeah, because it started from literally the first clear. 3 buffs for Swathe, 1 buff for Guts. Then he gets no access to lanes. He was level 3 to like level 4, and then it was level 4 Zac to level 6 Kayn. He's got his ulti 2 levels above the other jungler, and any jungler knows, like, you're playing solo queue, you're playing whatever game of League of Legends. That just straight up sucks, and he just had no control over the map.
Yeah, let's see what the couch has to say about the avant-garde comp of Avant Gaming.
Avant-garde indeed. Rusty, congratulations. You're a happy boy.
I am a happy boy. It was a pretty clean game from them overall. I mean, the only things that you could look at and say were issues were very minor, but that's the kind of game that, like, at the end of the day, you win laning phase, you're winning jungle, like, you just want to see a clean closeout, and it was pretty clean.
What is Region doing right now? You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's impossible to disagree with that. It was like a 29-minute shellacking, right? So I think that, you know, when you have a look at like what happened in that game and like kind of how it was played, what people don't realize about Kayn is like the quickest jungler in the game by like 10, 15 seconds on first clear. If you do just a top to bottom full clear, like he's incredibly quick. He's like a camp quicker than most other junglers. Now you put him against the slowest jungler in the game like Zac, and if you don't have like something really well prepared, like, you know, double ghost burrows either side of mid, or, you know, very big priority on half of the map to split the map and invade or something like that, you're just going to get like torn apart. And what you saw is like Legacy just didn't know how quick Kayn jungled. They had nothing prepared to be able to stop it. And then, you know, you get, you know, a longsword. And I think you got Caulfield, Warhammer, Red Smite. No one can fight him for the rest of the game. He was literally the strongest person on the map on either team for probably the first 11 levels of the game.
Almost the same farm as his solo laners too.
He also is a big taxer, which I am a big fan of. I always say this, but there is nothing better than when your top laner dies with 3 minion waves pushing into him as a jungler, so you can go, don't worry about it, mate. Better luck next time.
You're covered.
Yoink. Just take 2 level experience over your opponent jungle, especially when they're playing Zac. And he did that like top and bottom.
It's a lot of tax, actually.
Well, fresh off a decisive win, we have Shock at the desk with Pyre.
Thank you very much, Nick Boy. So yeah, congratulations on the win. You guys improved to a very, very healthy 4-2 record. After that one, it seems like every week there is a new pick, something different that comes out for this team. Is this something that you guys just like prefer to play? Is it being impressed upon by the coaches? I mean, why is Avant the most avant-garde team in the OPL?
I'd say that like with the unique picks, it's like a bit of both. Comes from the players' side of like wanting to try new things, but I think a lot of coaches, you know, will like kind of stifle that. They want you to play like the real meta, but we've been kind of allowed to play what we want if we get a really good situation for it. So I think that's why we come out with new picks each week.
Certainly the case. So I'm curious to see what kind of stuff you'll have still in the back. But I also want to talk about the other kind of shifting aspect of your team. You guys run a 6-man roster with 2 junglers. Do you particularly have like a preference playing with either Sybil or Swathe, or is it just the kind of thing that on the day you guys just all kind of decide who you think is going to be the best?
Yeah, it just kind of depends on like which team we're facing and how practice has gone that week. So I would say it's not like we prefer to use one over the other. We just have specific situations where one is more suited than the other.
Okay. Do you think it's a bit of a challenge to have an alternating player, that communication may not be the same from one week to another?
I would say not really, because we practice quite a lot with both of them. I could see that like if you tried to run a comp with one that you normally run with the other, I think there could be some like growing pains there as they try and fill in the gaps. But no, I think for the most part, communication's pretty consistent.
That's good to hear. Lastly, I want to ask a little bit about that communication overall in the team and how you guys have been playing. We've seen Avant, I think, honestly perform beyond most people's expectations. What do you think you have left to work on to really kind of stake your claim on the OPL this split?
I'd say we kind of have everything to work on. I feel like though we have like the talent there, we're not that solid as a team yet. We're just like a lot of games we win through individual skill. But yeah, I'd say our team play still has a long way to go. But I'm very happy that we're still taking games early on, even though I think we have a lot of room to grow.
He's a great player and he's humble. Thank you very much for joining us, Shock. We're going to send
you.
it back to the couch.
He's not only a great player, he's not only humble, he's also a very good host of the AV doco, which I referenced yesterday.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed the look around the team house and stuff. Shock's very personable.
The MTV Cribs approach, of course, to it. I thought it was quite funny.
Absolutely. Okay, so look, everyone failed this week except for Pyra.
But he's failed like every day before this, so...
That's true. That's true. So,
We're real cozy in here.
Yeah, we're snog.
So this is how the end of the show is going to go. We all have to eat a chili because we all got 3 wrong. And then Pyra needs to eat a wheat bick. So maybe...
Hold on, 1 wheat bix?
Well, I don't know if he can... Can he finish 3 wheat bix in one
I
sitting?
think we make him
Hold
do a wheat bix every show until he's
That's
caught
what
up.
I think he's got to catch up.
was the
I
wheat,
veto
how
this.
many bix was in the wheat bix challenge, right? Because like, what is 1 easy and
What is a
2
wheat
difficult?
bix challenge?
Wasn't there a wheat bix challenge?
Yeah, there was a
Was
wheat
there?
bick challenge.
Yeah. Like, how many bix was in that?
Interesting. Hang on. I've got a bunch of yogurt here. Hold
I
this.
don't need a yogurt.
Surely the chat knows.
Well, that's why I only got 3.
Surely the chat will know.
Chat,
Cool.
how many
have
wheat
a
bix?
yogurt.
How
I'll have a
many
yogurt, yeah.
wheat bix?
There's
has
no
been
Is the plural of
in
wheat
the
bix bix?
Give me this
wheat
yogurt.
bix
There we go.
challenge?
Thanks.
We didn't get spoons?
Thank you. Yeah, I got spoons. I got 4 spoons.
Oh,
don't,
okay.
Don't you worry about that.
Good. Thanks, Dad.
Okay.
This is out of control. Just eat the chili.
This is terrible. Okay,
Why are you
so
giving Jake Yoggin spoon? He
apparently
doesn't
there's
need any of that.
11. So I'm just going to give him...
11?
Let's just go with 1, and if he seems to be going too easy, then we'll give him another one. But I agree, he just needs to eat them throughout the broadcast. Jake's just hardcoring
down.
it.
This is
Toss that to him, and he eats that.
chili tolerance, let me
Here's
tell
a
ya.
yogurt for everybody else. Chili time, and then Bryce.
Who's doing what?
Wait, am I doing it at the
okay.
same time as you guys?
You start now.
All right.
Start chomping.
Rusty, I need you to go through results for today. And then,
Can you grab
you go
me?
through spicy tips results. You go through results from today.
Yep.
I'll close out the show, and
can't
Jake's
reach.
already finished his
So
chili.
dry.
Oh, what
Wow.
do we go green one. We'll go green one.
Yeah. What's Nick having?
I've got
gonna
a chili.
I'm having one of these.
All right.
No, you have to have a green one.
I'm not eating one
you
of
have to
those.
have a
I've
green
no. God, I finished my chili. Okay. Go.
Oh.
How much do you eat?
All of them.
You've got to be kidding me.
I ate the whole thing yesterday.
This is a disaster.
Okay, so today's results. Who's going to be me? Chiefs. Oh, at the start of the day, got the 1-0 against Mammoth. Oh, Bombers in what was a mildly better game. Definitely took the win over Gravitas. Direwolves had another very, very long one, but eventually Order were able to best them. And the last game of the day that we just saw, AV took out with an absolute banger performance from Swathe over Legacy.
Who knows tomorrow? Or next week?
Do we have next week's results?
What else do we have?
No.
Who knows?
All right, that's it. Then I'm going to let everybody know we're hosting Mid Beast. That hunk of man, Mid Beast,
What
is
is
in
going
the
on?
esports
Calvin Klein
athlete.
model.
Unbelievable. He could be a Calvin Klein model, pro footballer with a ripped physique like that.
No.
This is by far the hottest cyber sportsman to ever grace the esports industry. I'd let him beat his way through my mid any
This
day.
tastes like it feels like I'm eating cement. It's just so dry.
Rusty needs to finish his chili.
Oh, man, with me.
Keep going. I finished mine. There's just so much there. We are done with the OPL for this week. Thank you very much for hanging out with us for the weekend. What a weekend of games. We'll see you around next week. OPL out.